border of Ukraine feels like the calm before the storm. An eerie calm hung over the symbolic crossroads of a potentially global conflict yesterday. But I felt a chill in the air as I stood at the northern border crossing Ukraine shares with both Belarus and Russia. Nick Parker stands at the northern border crossing Ukraine shares with both Belarus and Russia. Satellite and data analysis has revealed that as many as 80,000 troops loyal to President Vladimir Putin may be poised to launch lightning raid on Ukraine's capital Kiev from Belarus. Credit, AP. Snow flurries danced across the silent machine gun posts on the desolate border shielded by a razor-wired fence stretching to the frozen horizon. Only a handful of Ukrainian troops were visible patrolling the freezing no man's land. But locals fear they were witnessing the calm before the storm. Our inquiries revealed that thousands of Russian troops and tanks were massing just a few miles north. Satellite and data analysis has revealed that as many as 80,000 troops loyal to President Vladimir Putin may be poised to launch lightning raid on Ukraine's capital Kiev from Belarus. Ukrainian border force officer Oleksandra Stupak gazed north in the direction of the enemy force and declared, "If they come we will be ready. Our orders are to hold this ground until it can be reinforced should the Russians invade, and we will do our duty. We have tank traps, bunkers, trenches and a fence along the entire border lined with sensors which could detect any incursion. And if they come this way, reserve forces to support us will be here very quickly." The unique tri-border is marked ironically by the white-painted Three Sisters monument to friendship between the three nations in 1975. But few Ukrainians today expect the hand of friendship from the thousands of Russian troops massed as close as 12 miles from Ukraine's northern border with Belarus. Cafe waitress Anastasia Peskova, 25, who works in the Lavender Cafe in the village of Horodnya, 10 miles from the border told me, "I am afraid of the Russians, everyone is. I just hope I will have time to escape if they come this way. There will be no point running south towards Kiev as that is where they will be heading. Most people here will run west should it happen. It is a very uncertain and scary time and we are all preparing for the worst. No one wants to live under the power of a man like Putin." Tension has been rising for months in the World War I-style trenches of eastern Ukraine as the world held its breath waiting for the first salvo of a terrifying war with Russia. The 250-mile front line in the Donbas region occupied by pro-Russian forces for the past 7 years has been the focal point of the West's darkest fears. But while Ukrainian troops have flooded in to shore up the eastern flank backed by British anti-tank missiles, President Putin has been quietly preparing a new front. Giant tent cities of troops have appeared in hidden forest sites hundreds of miles from the supposed military exercise sites. The Kremlin claims it is staging military maneuvers from February 10 to 20th, but the huge influx of men and hardware far exceeds levels for normal wargame exercises. Huge numbers of tanks and rocket batteries were pictured arriving by train in the southern Belarusian town of Rychitsa, 40 miles from the border and just 190 miles from Kiev. In another ominous sign, armored bridge-laying vehicles needed to breach border defenses were spotted in Rychitsa, where at least 71 T-72 tanks are now in position. And fears of a thrust into Ukraine rose further last night as it was revealed an entire battalion of around 500 Spetsnaz Special Forces troops moving in. Rychitsa sits in the biggest pocket of Russian troop concentration, which also includes the towns of Gomel and Mazur in southern Belarus. Sabotage and dark arts fears by Jerome Starkey. Russia is set to unleash compromise attacks to topple Ukraine's government and undermine its NATO allies, Western officials have warned. Defense Secretary Ben Wallace said the Kremlin's tactic of getting compromising material, including explicit photographs, to blackmail and discredit enemies was in the toolbox for Ukraine. He said Russian Spetsnaz special forces were already in the country plotting sabotage attacks. And NATO warned its allies to brace for a wide range of assaults. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said a fully fledged Russian invasion remained a terrifying risk. But he said President Putin's next move could include a devastating cyber attack, a coup attempt in Kiev or physical sabotage. Mr. Stoltenberg said, "They have intelligence officers inside Ukraine as we speak. We need to be prepared for a wide range of different forms of aggressive actions." The Kremlin said the West had rejected its demands and vowed not to let Russia be trampled on and ignored. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov insisted yesterday, "We don't want a war. But satellite imagery and open-source analysis has revealed pro-Putin forces now threaten Ukraine as far as Yelnya and Bryansk in the east and Brest in the west of Belarus. And thousands more Russian troops and rocket artillery are now also deployed to the town of Yelsk, just 12 miles from Ukrainian soil, following the arrival of the 38th Motor Rifle Brigade. The tyrant, clinging to office thanks to Putin's support, ranted that he wanted a conflict in which the West would drown Russia, Ukraine and the general Slavic Brotherhood in blood. It will start if there is an attack on Belarus or Russia. The redivision of the world is turning, and the nuclear powers have been trying to build new agreements to avoid a third world war. Defense analyst Paul Beaver told The Sun last night, "What is happening in Belarus is a classic Putin ploy, and a classic Russian trait. By keeping everyone guessing as to from where and how he will stage his attack, Putin continues to hold all the cards while the Ukraine and the world waits for his next move." Ukrainian border force officer Oleksandra Stupak declared, "If they come we will be ready." Soldiers take part in an exercise for the use of MLA anti-aircraft missiles on the Yavoriv military training ground, close to Lviv, western Ukraine. Credit, AP. One Ukrainian said, "No one wants to live under the power of a man like Putin." Credit, AP.